Hi everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and tonight we're down here in what I think is one of the most haunted towns in Virginia, Yorktown. We're going to try out this app that a lot of people have been talking about. It's called the Randonautica app, and I'm going to turn you over to Linda. She's going to tell you a little bit about this app and how it works.
The Randonautica app is, of course, one of those apps nowadays that's becoming wildly popular. Part of the reason is because of the COVID-19 virus. People are looking for interesting things to do that are not going to put them in the public as far as being around a lot of other people. Now, what it is actually a very complex app. There are random numbers that are generated, and these numbers create coordinates all over the earth. There are places where these coordinates are most concentrated. The coordinates are often called quantum points, I believe, in the app. And the quantum points can be very dense in certain areas, or they can be very low density in other areas. Those are called voids. The high density areas are called attractors. Now, you can basically just try to think of some sort of theme, some sort of idea, something that you want to find, and you're supposed to sort of use your brain waves in order to focus on something and hit this button that generates one of these points. And the app will actually use a map feature that leads you directly to that point. Now, people have often found things that are either objects or what they call artifacts. I know in one video somebody had found something that was like a cooler on a beach that contained body parts. Other people have seen completely weird, random paranormal anomalies and things. So there's a lot that can be found, and it's a fascinating way to spend your time. Now, once you found something, they encourage you to go on perhaps like a subreddit and to post exactly what you found. So we're going to try this out tonight and see what we can discover.
So you may be asking, why Yorktown? Well, we're going to use the Randonautica app tonight to see if it can take us to spirits, to see if we can get any interaction with any of the entities that are lingering here in Yorktown.
So we've chosen a very central location here in Yorktown. We're in a parking lot right behind the old, what used to be the old courthouse. A lot of history in this location, but it's sort of central in that we can sit here and pull up the Randonautica app and see if we can generate a point from this location. So I'm going to turn on my phone and I'm going to show you at first what this Randonautica app icon will look like. So you can see the Randonautica icon right here in the bottom right corner. And when you click on that, it's going to bring up your location. And you see this kind of translucent blue circle, that's actually your radius. You can zoom out and increase that radius, or you can zoom way in and focus more on a smaller location. Now, there's a lot of settings with these things, a lot of things that you can play around with. You can try to find an area with high concentrated quantum points or one of the voids with lower concentration points. But I think for this experiment, we're probably going to leave it on power. And all you have to do is, like I said, sit there and think about something. In this case, the first thing that we think about is going to be one of the most haunted places in Yorktown.
So let's think about the most haunted place. We got to concentrate on it in
Right.
case it is picking up on our brain waves.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So concentrate on the most haunted place in
Yes.
Yorktown. I don't think what that is. Just think.
Right.
Don't
Most
think
haunted
specifically
place.
that we know or we believe is the most haunted place, but just, hey,
Yeah,
we
most
want to
haunted
find the
place.
most haunted place.
Exactly.
What does the app think?
Yes.
Okay, focusing on the haunted place.
Yes, most haunted place. All right, so we will narrow our focus a little bit more and hit generate. And you see the little owl flying. It's generating that point. And there it is.
All right, let's punch it into the GPS and head out there.
Okay. Now all we have to do is hit this blue button here that says start the journey. It's bringing up my Google Maps, and it's showing us what that location is, and we can hit the directions, and it'll show us exactly how to get there.
Turn left onto Ballard Street. Main Street.
Now we're going to hit a bit of a roadblock here. Can we not drive down here? We need to go straight.
Street closed to motor traffic, so we might have to hotfoot it back there. Where's the best place to park from here?
I don't know because it's really freaking cold.
That's right. Okay, so we are heading off on foot here, and luckily it's a short walk up the road. Now, we're willing to stick with this, no matter where it takes us, as long as it's legal, of course.
Right.
But unfortunately, the street was closed to motor traffic.
Yes.
So it's a short walk uphill,
Yeah.
both ways, both ways, to get to this point. No outlet. That could be a sign of the most haunted place.
Your destination is on the left.
Right here.
So this is it.
Yes. Powerful.
Good timing.
So yes, according to Randonautica, this field, this little empty spot on our left-hand side here, my left-hand side, is the most haunted place in Yorktown. Now, I have to say this is not exactly what I would have expected as far as being the most haunted place in Yorktown. I can think of a lot of places that are probably much more haunted than this. So it's kind of got me being a little bit skeptical about the app. Now, that's not to say this place is not haunted. It very well could be. It's just not one place that we've ever come to with reports of ghosts.
I definitely have to agree with what Linda said. In all my research of Yorktown, I haven't found any claims of paranormal activity in this area. Not to say it doesn't happen. Now, I have heard reports of paranormal activity just to my left, up here above the parking garage, but it is by no means the most haunted place. The parking garage itself, I've even talked to archaeologists, and where that is, they found a body there after the flood that happened years ago here in Yorktown before the parking garage was built. And there was some military movements throughout these parts, which could also lend to the paranormal activity. But this place is a heavily trafficked area. I mean, this area of Yorktown that we're in. I would think if it was the most haunted place, we'd have far more reports of experiences from this location. So let's try something else and see if we have any more luck with Randonautica.
Now we're going to try something a little bit different. Because I've had a lot of personal experiences here, I was born and raised right outside this village. We're going to try to think of somewhere that has personal significance, somewhere that is very significant for me. And we're both going to concentrate on that. And then again, hit the generate button and see where it takes us.
All right, let's do it. Now you can probably tell just from looking at that generated point if it has significance or not, but perhaps going there, it will trigger some kind of memory that you have forgotten about.
That's right. It very well could be. Yeah, so let's go take a look and see where it's taking us.
All right. And hopefully we can drive there.
Yeah, because it's really cold, like 28.
walking distance of that picnic grove?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's right up here. Yeah, right here.
Okay. We're here at this spot along 17.
Route 17, yeah.
Anything significant?
Not a bit.
Not a bit. I figured
No.
not. I mean, there's nothing over here.
No, actually, there's a little bit of a creek that goes across here and across Route 17.
Right.
Goes down, back towards the beach. And that's really all that's here. I mean, other than that, it's just a bunch of woods. And now I do have to say that right across the street, across Route 17 and back just a little ways, is the York County Courthouse, where I've unfortunately had to spend a lot of time over the past 6 years or so. So that's kind of interesting, but it didn't take us to the courthouse. It took us across the street from it, across the highway. So I'm not exactly sure why it would bring us here, and it's certainly nothing significant to me.
All right. So this time, let's try a big one. Let's try, where can we go to get a recording of a spirit's voice within 5 minutes of being there?
Okay.
Okay, focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit voice.
Spirit voice. No true anomaly available.
There are truly no anomalous experiences in your radius. Try again momentarily, or try increasing your radius. Okay, it's been a moment. Let's try again.
Yeah, let's try it again.
Focus spirit voice within 5 minutes of being there.
Now, see, that's interesting because I've got the same radius that I've always had, right? The same exact radius, which basically includes all of Yorktown. We've already been to points within this radius
Right.
tonight. So we know that there's quantum points here,
Okay.
but it's telling us that there's no anomalies.
Okay.
So maybe it's telling us that it can't take us to a place where there's no spirit, where there's a spirit voice.
That could be. That could be. Okay, let's think more specific.
Okay.
Take us to a place. Let's think of a place where many imports were brought in
Okay. Lots of imports.
during colonial times, of
Yes.
course, because imports aren't brought in anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's see if that works.
Nope. I think what we're going to have to do is move off of this location. We're going to have to move back down to the village of Yorktown, perhaps, and use that as our center of our radius and go from there.
Let's try it. So I'm thinking, the reason I asked that second question was because I figured, okay, we know where imports were brought into Yorktown.
Right.
So it should be able to take us there.
Yes.
So it might have just been the location that we were in.
Could be.
The signal.
Yeah, it could have been.
I don't know. So let's go back to our original question.
Right.
Or thought, I should say, of take us to a place where we can speak to a spirit, where we can record a spirit's voice within 5 minutes of being there.
Okay.
I know this is very specific, but we just want to experiment with this app, both specific and broad,
Yes.
to see what the results are.
Exactly. And here we are again, same radius that we had before, and we're going to concentrate, right? Where we can
Right.
go to hear a spirit voice. Oh,
Your point is in the water.
yeah.
Try to get as close to it as possible. If you would like to skip water points, please check out the skip water points at it. Okay, so let's see how far off in the water that is.
Okay. Oh. Well, that's actually kind of interesting because that is where the Colonial Parkway crosses a little waterway. I'm not sure that we can exactly get to that point. There are little pull-offs along the road. So I guess we could ride up there and see if there's actually any little pull-offs where we can kind of stop and see if we can at least get close, like it says.
Unfortunately, that's the bridge we just came over.
What one?
That bridge right there, that's the one we came over on the way back from 17.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, there's no pull-offs there.
Oh, okay. That's right. Because that is the entrance to the Colonial Parkway right
Yeah.
there.
Yep, so
So, yeah, there's no way to stop there.
There's no way to stop there because we'll get chased.
Yeah. We could always try generating a new point and see where it takes us.
Let's generate a new point and see what happens. Another place where we can hear a spirit's voice within 5 minutes of being there.
Again, with a no true anomaly.
All right, let's go back to take us to a place where imports were brought into Yorktown.
Okay.
A place, let's think about imports being brought in, things of value, things for trade. Take us to a place where these imports were brought into Yorktown. Big port.
So, it's not exactly at the water.
Your destination is on the right.
Oh, look at that tree.
Okay, so right here.
Yes. I have to say that tree is amazing.
That is.
That is quite a tree.
That is quite a tree. I mean, if they're counting the lights as being imports,
yeah.
I can see where they got it from.
That's exact. They're probably all Chinese lights, but this is certainly not a place that I would have thought of if I was trying to think of somewhere in Yorktown that had a lot of imports. Of course, you think down by the water. You think perhaps Tobacco Road, because that's one of the places where they brought the imports, and they actually brought exports of tobacco and stuff down that road as well. This is just a sort of residential area here.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure why here.
Or I would have thought the customs house.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Strange.
So here's my next idea. I have a K2 meter. All right.
Right.
Let's think of a place that has a lot of energy. A lot of electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
It can be natural.
Right.
Or perhaps spiritual.
Okay.
But we want to go to a place where this is going to be triggered.
Okay.
Okay, so a place that will set off the K2 meter. And I mean, from the moment we get there, it's just going to be energy off the charts.
All right. Energy off the charts. Lots of energy.
Think of that K2 meter all the way up in the red. I wonder why it says that.
I don't know. I'm almost wondering if I'm not getting a good connection, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it does look kind of low here. Maybe we're just not in a very good area. Let me try taking off the Wi-Fi. We do have Wi-Fi in the truck. It's a hotspot. Let's try taking that off and just relying upon the mobile data and seeing what that does for us, if it gives us any better results.
All right. K2 meter in the red.
Mm-hmm. Nope. That didn't do it. And it's showing I've got 5G.
Okay. That's dangerous, that 5G. Make you see things.
Yeah.
All right, so let's think of another one then.
All right.
This time, let's just think of a random point and go there and see if there's any kind of value to us.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Not even a theme? Not even like a paranormal random point or a, dead people kind of random point? Or...
We could think paranormal.
Okay.
Let's just think paranormal, broad paranormal.
Broad paranormal. Okay, we'll try that. Something
So
paranormal.
any anomaly. Just take us to some anomaly.
Right.
Point is on the water. What point on the water is it taking us to now? Is that down by the waterfront?
It is. It's taking us right off the point of that beach right there.
All right, let's plot it.
Okay.
Okay, so where is this point?
Well, it looks to me like it's right here. You might not be able to see it in the video, but there is one of these kind of long piles of rocks that they've put out there to protect the beach and to prevent erosion. And it looks to me like it's just off that little point right there, the right-hand point of those rocks. So basically straight out here in front of us.
So what we're gonna do is I brought this parabolic dish, and we're gonna head out here and just point this in the direction to see if we pick up any anomalies. One thing with the York River, there's some 26 ships that are sunk out here. To create a blockade, when the French Navy was coming in, they sunk all these ships to basically have a blockade of ships with the sterns facing out, almost like those old redoubts. But there were also a lot of battles here in the river. When the French Navy came in and blockaded, there were some battles out here in the river where even towards the end of the Battle of Yorktown, when the British, Cornwallis tried to go over into Gloucester across the water here. And like an act of God, the storm came out of nowhere, flipped their boats over, men drowned in this river. So several people have died in this river. Now what I'm gonna do is I have this hooked up to a splitter. So I'm actually gonna record. So you'll be able to hear whatever I'm hearing. And maybe we'll have Linda ask some questions and see if we get any responses from way out on the water. This will be interesting. A first EVP session at a river.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak to us? Of course, we have cars passing.
And I'll tell you what, those cars going over the Coleman Bridge there,
Quite loud, huh?
quite loud. And I have this thing cranked up to high.
If there's anyone here, can you tell us your name? Why are you here?
Me walking.
He has a device in his hand that has a little green light. Can you walk up closer to that? Or try to make more lights come on?
I hear a train in the distance.
Yes.
Walking.
Can you tell us, are you French? Are you British?
There's really no way unless it was very significant, I wouldn't be able to hear an EVP with all the traffic up there. I mean, it sounds quiet right now if you listen to it.
A lot of ambient noise.
Right,
Yes.
but when I put this on, that bridge is loud.
I'm sure it probably is.
It's like right now, it sounds perfectly quiet. Like, oh yeah, it's good atmosphere
Yeah.
for an EVP. Not through this. I aimed it down at the water, just in case. Aimed it up at the sky just because you never know.
not?
You never know where something's going to come from, right?
Right.
This is a point that's very hard for us to verify.
Yes.
Is there paranormal activity here? If we look right behind us here is the Duke of York Hotel, okay? I will tell you something interesting. I did an interview with a woman here. She worked at the hotel, and it was the off season, as it is now. And she had come out in front of the hotel, and she said it was a foggy night. And there was fog all over the river. And she said, I saw what looked like a ship. And at first I thought it was just something in the fog. You know what I mean? I thought it was just kind of when you see an animal in the clouds or something like that. But she said, I looked and this ship came rolling out of this fog. And she said, I could see the detail in this ship. It was clearly a big British galleon, as she described it. Cannons out the side and everything. She said as quickly as it came out of the fog, it went into another fog and it was gone. What's interesting is this is the point right here. She was standing right here and she saw that ship right out in this area of the river. So this is a place where an anomaly does happen. Once again, it's hard to go anywhere in Yorktown where an anomaly hasn't happened, though. So for this one, let's think of a place in Yorktown that played a key role in the victory.
Right. We're talking about like the Siege of Yorktown,
Yep.
Revolutionary War. Okay.
Absolutely.
A very significant point.
A very significant point in the Battle of Yorktown.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Significant point. Battle of Yorktown.
Point is on the water.
Well, it actually is.
Right, just where we just came from almost, huh?
No, it's actually at a very significant point. If you look, this is the bridge
The Coleman
that
Bridge,
we were just
right?
looking at. That's
Yeah.
the Coleman Bridge, okay? This is also the point, the spit of land right here, this little bump right there, is the little point of land where Cornwallis attempted to cross the river over to Gloucester Point, which is up here, with his men on that night. He was trying to escape to
Yes,
the
right.
rest of his men at Gloucester. This is the exact point where they got to about midway across the river when that freak storm kicked up and overturned all of their little man-made boats and tossed, I've heard, thousands of men into the water to their deaths.
And not only that, it is significant in the war because if he had made it across to Gloucester, allegedly he had reinforcements over there.
Right.
And he would not have had to stay here and surrender. He was going over there to evade surrendering. But when he could not reach Gloucester Point, he came
Yep.
back to Yorktown and sent out one of his lower ranking officers
Yep.
to surrender to
surrender.
Washington.
That's right. So that is a very significant point, probably the most significant point, I would say, in all of the battle.
Yes, and just to clarify, the lower ranking officer did not actually surrender to Washington. Washington turned him down and
Insisted.
directed him to one of his lower ranking generals.
Right.
So,
Yes. So that actually is kind of interesting because looking at this, of all of the places in Yorktown that have the most significance, that played the biggest role in the Revolutionary War, that would be it. That would be it.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We tried the Randonautica app here in Yorktown. It's definitely an interesting thing. It's a fun thing. It really is.
It is.
But like any game of chance, it seems to be by chance. Sometimes it takes you to a place that's relevant to what you're thinking. Other times it seems to take you to a place that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
However, if in your mind you're not thinking specific and you're thinking, hey, I'm going out to this place and I'm going to look for something that's meaningful to me, to this generated app. A lot of times your mind can put together something that's meaningful, whether it's
That's
the
right.
song of a bird,
Yeah.
you know, the feel of the breeze, the smell
Yeah.
of a certain flower that's there, numerous other things.
Right.
Things that could remind you of days gone by that were meaningful.
That's true.
But what are your thoughts so far as tonight?
I think it was really fun to be able to take the app and to travel around and see exactly what we can find. I think it certainly is a great way to spend your time if you're just trying to find something to do and you're a little bit bored. I'm not sure that it actually works the way people think it does, or perhaps we're not using it correctly as well. That's another possibility. Like perhaps you're supposed to clear your mind and not really think of a whole lot, and then it tends to be a little bit better. Who knows? Or it could be that we don't have the right settings. Maybe we shouldn't be using the power settings. Maybe we should be using a void setting where there's less anomalies concentrated in one area.
Absolutely.
Who knows? What we're going to do now is we're going to try to clear our minds. We're going to try to not think of anything at all, and then hit the button and see if perhaps it takes us to a place that has some sort of significance, or where we can find an anomaly or find something there. And we're not exactly sure if this is going to work, because it could put us into somebody's house. It could put us into a location where we can't actually access. So we're just going to have to do this and see where it takes us. We can tell by looking at the map where exactly it's going to take us before we even bother going there. But just out of curiosity, just for the sake of experimentation, let's see what exactly happens.
Yeah, one last time, because when Linda mentioned we didn't try clearing our minds, I figured why not?
Yeah.
We should, be a little more thorough. and
Right.
Clear our minds and let's see what happens.
Yep, worth a try.
But if our minds are clear, I'm not sure what we're going to look for when we get there. And how will we know if we found it?
I don't know.
These questions. My mind is now clear.
Oh, not enough owl tokens.
Oh,
we used up the owl tokens.
No, what are these owl tokens?
So the owl tokens allow you to do a power search, and it gives you, the app actually gives you a certain number of owl tokens every day, and we have used up all of them in just this day. So that's actually kind of funny, because we were considering being done with this.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can go to maybe void.
Maybe that's a sign.
Maybe, yeah. I believe I read somewhere that the owl tokens were only used for a power search.
Right.
So let's clear our minds again and see if this works on void now.
Absolutely. Mine is clear. It's blank.
Nope. Still giving us nothing.
So perhaps, really,
Yep.
that's what we're looking for to be done with Randonautica.
Right.
And it's picking up on that, like, hey, here's exactly what you want, is to be done with this.
That's exactly right.
But that's not true, because
No,
it has been
it's not
fun.
true.
It really has.
It has, yeah.
And perhaps
It's
to
been
be
very fun.
continued.
Yep.
Maybe not.
Yep.
I don't know. But I also want to tell you guys to join us for the next edition of the Paranormal Evidence Room.
Right.
Because we're actually going to be taking this app a little more under a microscope and looking a little more into the science behind it.
Yes.
And seeing a little bit more about what it's about and how it works.
Exactly.
Are these things random? Is there some kind of a higher power at work with this thing? We're going to look into it.